going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's Variant Proportion Update for Friday, April 28th, 2023. Starting off like we have in the past couple weeks, we want to take a look at Hubbub World and see what they're showing for the XBB116 variant. And as you can see here, they have added 3 new states this week. Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin all report cases of XBB116. 20 states have reported XBB116 over the few months, totaling 10% of cases nationwide at present. That's what they're showing here. And you can see states with the most of it is definitely New Jersey. Then you come up here to Washington, New York State, South Carolina, North Carolina, Wisconsin. And you even come out here to California. That's where the most of it is. It's also in Florida, Georgia, places like Michigan, Illinois, probably coming to Arizona, Utah, and the rest of the states will eventually fill in on this map. Taking a look at the CDC, and we're going to take a look first at the national level. We'll report all the variants listed here on the national level. Then as we get into the regional ones, we will only report the variants that are over 1%. And you'll see here, XBB116 has finally gotten over 10% now. Took a little longer than we thought it would have, just based on how fast it rose in other countries. But here we go. XBB15 is still dominant at 68.8%. Then you come to XBB116 at 11.7% this week nationally. XBB191 is at 9%, XBB192 is at 3.7%, XBB is at 2.4%, XBB151 is at 2.2%, and that does it for all the XBBs. There's quite a few of them now. FD.2 is at 1.3%, BQ1.1 is at 1.4%, CH1.1 is at 0.3%, and BQ.1 is at 0.1%. So we're starting to lose the BQs after they've been around for quite some time now. Take a look at Region 1, Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. And in this region, XBB15 is at 77.9%, XBB191 is at 8.4%, XBB116 is still only at 7%, XBB151 is at 2.5%, XBB is at 1.7%, and XBB1.9.2 is at 1.7%. Region 2, New Jersey, New York, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. In this region, XBB15 is in the lead at 67.1%, XBB116 is at 12.5%, XBB191 is at 9.8%, XBB192 is at 4.4%, XBB is at 3.2%, and XBB151 is at 2.9%. Region 3, Delaware, District of Columbia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. In this region, XBB15 is at 68.2%, XBB116 is up to 14.8%, XBB191 is at 7.8%, XBB192 is at 4.2%, XBB151 is at 2.6%, and XBB is at 2%. Moving on to Region 4, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. In this region, XBB15 is at 71.2%, XBB116 is at 11%, XBB191 is at 8.1%, XBB192 is at 3.7%, XBB151 is at 3.2%, and XBB is at 2%. Region 5, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, and Ohio, and Wisconsin. In this region, you will see XBB15 is at 72.2%, XBB116 is at 12.7%, XBB191 is at 6.1%, XBB192 is at 3.5%, XBB151 is at 2.6%, and XBB is up to 1.9%. Region 6, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. In this region, XBB15 is up to 68%, XBB116 is up to 15.6%. XBB191 is up to 6.7%. XBB is at 3.5%. XBB192 is at 3.3%. XBB151 is at 1.9%. Now region 7, our wildcard region. Why do we call this a wildcard region? Because sometimes these odd variants do very well in this region for some reason. Region 7, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. And let's see if that's still the case this week. Yep, it is. XBB15, 61.6%. Then XBB191 is still at 23.9%. The only region where it's really had some success. XBB116, 7.8%. XBB, 3.1%. XBB151, 2.3%. Region 8, Colorado, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, and Wyoming. In this region, XBB15 is 72.6%, XBB191 is 13.1%, XBB116 is 6.5%, XBB192 is 3.6%, XBB151 is 1.6%, and XBB is 1.5%. Alright, Region 9, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Nevada, American Samoa, Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, and Federated States of Micronesia. In this region, you will see XBB15 is at 66.9%, XBB116 is at 10.3%, XBB191 is at 9.5%. FD.2 then comes at 4.5%, XBB192 is at 4.1%, XBB 2.6%, and XBB151 is at 1.2%. And finally, we come to Region 10, Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. In this region, XBB15 is at 65.9%, XBB116 is at 13.9%, XBB191 is at 8.6%, XBB192 is at 5.6%, XBB is at 2.6%, and FD.2 is at 1.4%. And just for the heck of it, let's include XBB151 because that is at 0.9%. Alright, what have we learned this week? XBB116 is growing in the United States. I think once we see it get to maybe about 40%, 50%, we'll start seeing cases rise in more areas. Right now, we're only seeing, or at least wastewater, we're seeing wastewater rise at multiple spots in the Midwest, like Ohio, as you saw in yesterday's wastewater update. And I can't really explain why that's happening because, as you just saw, XBB116 is not as high there yet. It's rising, but it's not as high yet. So we'll have to see what happens probably as we get to mid to late May. At that point, I think nationally, XBB116 should maybe by then be over 30%. So it's just basically a waiting game. Eventually, we are going to see a rise. We're starting to see cases and hospitalizations rise over in the UK. And back in the old school days of the pandemic, the first couple of years, that was always a 2 to 4 week indicator of a rise in the United States. So we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Alrighty, that does it for today's Variant Proportion update. We will have the full-scale pandemic update this afternoon, probably sometime between about 3 and 6 p.m., hopefully the earlier portion of that bracket. I'll see you all again next time. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. Until I see you next time, you have to do two things. Test negative and stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching.